Hey y'all, you're welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Let's talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So, the latest episode came out. It was a very fun episode to watch. I really enjoyed it. But as usual, I want to talk to you guys about some of the key things that I picked up today when I was watching the episode. Now, please hit that like button, please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. So I will give this episode a 10 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. I think for me, it was very nostalgic watching the scene between Cynthia, Phaedra, and Porsha. I feel like it was clear why we need the OGs. I think for a lot of people, sometimes people feel like, oh, why do you guys keep talking about bring the OGs? It's because they bring something to the show that is very enjoyable, very fun. I've always said Porsha brings really good comic relief, same as Phaedra, which is why I love them on the show. And I would want to see a new season where there's Porsha, Phaedra, even Cynthia is funny. And I don't think people really get to see much of that. But I think in this scene, you could definitely see more of that. And I wish they would do a lot more scenes together because they nailed this one. Now, let's talk about Drew and Angela really quickly. Drew clearly was not feeling the whole um, Brit sort of being there to support Shamia. Like I said, I thought that Brit had good intentions, but I did say that I felt like it was a little bit over the top. I do think it was, it was sort of like she had good intentions, but the delivery was just excessive, in my opinion, right? Nonetheless, I take it more as a positive because I feel like genuinely Brit is a sweet girl. She just needs more directions. And that's why I said I feel like she just has lessons to learn. And if I'm being completely honest, I feel like this season, well, this last two episodes, I feel like I have been enjoying Brit than I have this whole season. And I feel like if we got to see more of this Brit, I feel like she would have been a really good addition to the show. And we would have been able to see more of her moving forward. And hopefully would have been able to enjoy more of her in the next season. Unfortunately, that is never going to happen. So we better move on that. Now, Shamia, Shiloh, the nurse situation. I have to say, if I was Shamia, I would be pissed, pissed, pissed that a nurse would be over there covered, fully clothed, and then the daughter is not fully clothed and she's cold. Absolutely unacceptable. It's like, why are you there? Why are you being paid that? And I would like, I'm not one to report or complain about things, but when it comes to the health of somebody that I care about, imagine your daughter that you have gone through so many challenges with. I am reporting her. I am complaining to everybody that needs to be complained to because that is a serious issue of neglect and it needs to be sorted ASAP. Like, of course, that goes without saying. I'm never going to have that nurse back over there. But even beyond that, I'm just like, nah, there needs to be repercussions for what you have done or what you have failed to do in this particular instance. So yeah, I would have been on it like white on rice. Now let's move on to Porsha, Cynthia, and Phaedra. I absolutely loved the scene. Porsha and Phaedra be cracking me up. I loved how they started talking about. First of all, I loved the like little banter between Porsha and Phaedra when Porsha was like, "Girl, you gotta like be on your tippy toes. I can't see you." Like that is the fun lightheartedness that we want on the show. And I feel like for a while, that is what the show has been missing, which is why everybody keeps talking about they really do like the show. They're not really feeling the season. But it's like if everybody just did what they needed to do and everybody understood the assignment, then we wouldn't have this issue. But I think because everyone is sort of in their performative bag, where everyone feels like They've watched the Real. They've probably watched a few seasons of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, or maybe even grew up a little bit on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and now they have the opportunity to be on it. So they're like, I gotta perform. So nobody's been their authentic self. And I feel like Britt on this holiday is genuinely being her authentic self. It's so sad that we're not going to get to see more of that. But I definitely wish that she had come across less performative and just being herself from day one. I do get that sometimes it takes a while to warm up to the cameras, but whatever the case may be, I can't believe that Shamia and Kelly and these people are starting to make me feel like Britt is not as bad as everyone makes her seem. Like, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? We all went from loving us some Shamia at the first episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta this season, and now all of a sudden we don't really see it for her. And then now we tend to like really be like, "Ooh, Brit ain't bad," and now we're out here like practically caping for Brit. And this is why I feel like people need to not take these shows too seriously, because like 1 minute somebody shows up really good, they have a good episode, the next minute they don't. For instance, Porsha has been having a bad season almost all season long. These last few seasons, she seems to be more likable. She seems to be more of her fun self. So I think that people just need to understand, like, it's a job for these people. Sometimes you're going to be at your best at work, and sometimes you're just not going to be at your best, and that's just what it is. Now, when I say that Phaedra cracked me up when she was like, Rolls Royce is is part of the starter kit for Africans, like I cracked up. I cracked up. Like Phaedra was talking about trick or treating in Atlanta, and you got to be careful or you'll get tricked. Girl, that cracks me all the way up. You may not like Phaedra, and I understand because she's done some vile things, but when it comes to like that lighthearted, fun energy, she brings that to the show. Her and Porsha bring that to the show. Now, let's talk about this whole Britt and Kelly situation. Now, to give some context, at the start of the episode, Drew and Angela were talking about them. And they said they kind of feel like something ain't right in their dynamic and things are sort of shifting, because normally Kelly and Britt are always tag teaming, because Kelly's always jumping in and like sort of any issues that Britt has with someone else, Kelly's always chiming in. But it's very interesting that she was on mute when Shamia and Britt were going at it. And then when she finally talks, she decided to add her 2 cents that was not necessarily in favor of her so-called bestie Britt, right? So, of course, everybody's already seen the cracks. It's not that hard to see the cracks. The writing is practically written on the wall, if you ask me. And so I'm not surprised at all that that was something that came up. Basically, I will say that. But I will also say that I feel like I liked how Britt handled the conversation with Kelly. I feel like for the most part, I feel like that scene was definitely heavily edited, in my opinion. And I say that because I feel like, think about it. How are we talking about the donation? Next thing, there's sort of like a jump to this whole glam business. It didn't feel like it was nicely transitioned, and I don't see how a conversation will be that disjointed. I may be wrong, but that is just the impression I get from watching that scene. It just seemed a bit disjointed, a little bit. Beyond that, though, I will say that I love the fact that Britt was basically like, if you want me to learn a lesson, share it with me privately. There is no reason for you to bring that as a lesson that I need to learn in front of these girlies. There's no reason for that. What I thought was odd is that I think Britt was basically saying like, oh, she was trying to find out what a good amount is. And I'm like, okay, so isn't it interesting? Is it that Britt asked what a good amount is to Kelly and Kelly didn't even say anything? I know that she asked Shamia, but it's like, why not just say what it is? Say what a good amount is. And Kelly, if that's your friend, then say, honey, make sure nothing less than 1,000. That's what we do over here. Like, you could have said that, but you didn't. So if you're like really trying to help your friend, your buddy, you guys would have even probably talked about like, okay, how much are you planning to give? Like something. So it's just very odd. It's given we're not really friends, but we sort of have an alliance and we came on the show together. So we're going to like concoct it and act like we're really friends when in reality we're not really friends. That's the vibe that I get. That's the vibe I personally get. But I also thought it was a little hilarious that Shamia and Kelly decided to wear matching outfits. Kelly definitely jumped ship because it's like, honey, if that ain't a statement, I don't know what is. Because you and Britt were always doing your matchy twinning-ness, and then all of a sudden you're doing that with Shamia after this whole passive aggressive thing at the dinner. So it's given this is another way to basically show her where your alliance is. So it's just very weird to me. Now, it was cute, fine. They had their whole print thing going on. But I just feel like it was given more of like it's almost like a message. It's a message to Britt. And if you notice, Angela said, wow, Britt is not going to like that. And I'm like, I'm not surprised because it's like, imagine you're matching with someone and you guys do like your own little cute matching thing. And then the next day, you guys are not. And then there's this whole Glam Squad thing in the background. And then you see that she's over there matching with someone else. It's very, very odd. It doesn't come across quite well at all. So I just think that, yeah, I think it's very, very odd to me personally. And I think it seems more like another attempt at being passive aggressive and just being a little weird. And also an obvious I've jumped ship. I'm no longer out here caping for you. I'm now caping for Shamia. I will say the whole Glam Squad beef. Now here's the thing. I feel like Kelly is allowed to not want to share her Glam Squad, in my opinion. If you want your Glam Squad for yourself, that's fine. However, it's odd when you then put her on and introduce her and say, oh, blah, 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 I'm bringing my Glam Squad, they can help you out and stuff. You're portraying it like, oh, girl, let me hook you up. You can have my Glam Squad. We can use the Glam Squad together. So then why are you then not... Now, why you then, what's the issue? Is it because you feel like Britt tends to look better than you in outfits? She tends to look better. What is the issue? And Britt said something that I thought was interesting. Britt said there were times where, when they take certain pictures, she can't post certain pictures or they can't post certain pictures because she is basically giving them grief about the glam on her versus Brits. So it's just very, very weird. It's given I prefer the work they are doing on you versus the work they are doing on me. So now there's a little jealousy there that I just think is very odd. This is why I'm like, I understand people that are territorial. Keep your Glam Squad to yourself. Don't be out here being like, let me introduce you, knowing fully well that you don't want that to happen. That's just it. Like, I have no issues with people being territorial. If anything, I can be quite territorial myself because I find that I like to not even get the opportunity for certain conflicts to exist. So I'm just like, okay, if you need a Glam Squad, let me help you find your own Glam Squad, because then I don't want anything that is interfering with, let's say, for instance, I need 3 hours with me and they're like, oh, I'm so sorry, we need to cut it off so we can do you. No, I need my Glam Squad to be ready for me and spend the right time that they spend with me and not have to be divvying up my time or their time with them, with her or you, whatever. Now, that's not to say they can't help you out if you need help and they have time, but not at the expense of my work, right? Or my time and stuff like that. So I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you can have my Glam Squad. No. I'm gonna be like, girl, you need a Glam Squad. Now, these people have been using them. I know some good people. I could recommend some others or tell them to recommend other people for you. These ones we can use, but the times need to not be overlapping because I need them usually before, stuff like that, right? For instance, as far as I know, Porsha and Phaedra have the same Glam Squad. And Porsha and Drew also have the same Glam Squad. I suspect that Porsha was the one that put Drew onto the Glam Squad, and then Drew allegedly tried to be petty by keeping them later whilst they're doing her makeup so they don't get to do Porsha's makeup. And that's why Porsha ended up showing up to the place with half her makeup done. She didn't even make it a big issue, but I thought that was interesting, and that's a reason why I personally would not share my Glam Squad unless it's a thing where it's like, okay, we need to be here at 5 o'clock. You're doing mine. I don't care what it is. You're doing mine from 3 to 5. That is set. I don't want to hear no stories. You can do whatever you're doing for her. Just make sure you are not compromising my time with you. So unless they're like a Glam Squad where I trust that like they won't start, prioritizing someone else over my time, then I'm not sharing the Glam Squad. But I can help you find, I can make sure they're good, I can give you recommendations for people who I've used in the past, but are not my constant go-to because I just don't want there to be any issues with overlap. So I 100% get that, and I feel like honesty is the best policy. Like I'll give you an example. I was talking to my cousin about sort of like I have someone that edits certain things for me, right? Because like it gives me a little bit of time, stuff like that. And she was saying she wants an editor, and I was like, okay, considering the level of what you need, you don't necessarily need a reoccurring editor. You probably need someone every now and then, or you can even use like templates or do certain things yourself, so it doesn't you will not necessarily require like someone that I have that does stuff for me like all of the time, right? And also, if she's doing like videos for me every day, chances are she's not going to have time to be able to do that. But then we can find you somebody, right? So that's the thing. If I know that I have a lot of work, that yes, okay, if it's an occasional thing, sure, you can have my person, they can do this. But if it's something where I know like there's a potential that now they're going to be spending time doing your work and not have work time for my work, and then that's going to suffer, there's no point. We might as well get you somebody else that could be your person for whenever you need them. So I just think like people just need to be more honest and like just let people know if you have concerns about this. It's not a big deal. Tell your friend Kelly, tell her like, Britt, here's the thing, I like you, I'm happy for them to help you every now and then, but as a consistent set group of people, I need more help or whatever, so I can't commit to that. That is simple, not a big deal. Now, if you guys are always getting dressed from the same place, then maybe that would not be an issue. But sometimes it can be an issue. So I understand, if you want your own team or whatever, that's fine. It shouldn't be such a big problem. So that's my 2 cents on the issue. I just think like Kelly could have handled it better. There's no need for you to have a one-on-one conversation with these people saying you have to choose me or her. You could have had a conversation with your friend and say, honey, when I brought over my team to help you, that was a one-time thing, honey. Let's get you your people. She could have done that, but she didn't. And so that's what I would say. Communication, it's given very passive. Instead, you rather have like, it's given being underhanded, it's given being sly, it's given being fake. You have conversations privately about something that affects your friend without telling them. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that makes any sense at all. You're better off just opening your mouth and saying what it is, in my opinion. So yeah, that's what I would say. And when the girlies were at the pool, it was nice looking at everybody. Everybody looks good and stuff. But I don't know, the vibe with everyone on this trip is given like was everybody on heat or something? Because it was like, why is everybody acting like they had never seen a man before? Everybody was just doing the most, doing too much. It was a lot. And I was just like, that is so much. There's no need for all of that. It's a bit excessive, if you ask me. But I love that they were having fun. I thought it was really cute that Porsha decided to give Shamia her bathing suit and a hat and just to tear her up. I thought that was really nice. And it's funny because Porsha clearly knows what her friend likes because Shamia was over there being so happy, talking about how sweet it was. So I think that is really nice. And it's interesting to see how they seem to be getting along quite well. And so it's like, what then? That must be very difficult because considering the kind of reunion they allegedly had, if the season has been, they had their whole issue and then they fixed it and they sorted it and now they're at this point, but it's like, wow, I really hope that whatever happens, they're able to at least get it together. That's all I wish for them. But I will say, Shamia looks cute. If I were you, Shamia, I would say you need to start shopping in Porsha's closet a lot more because when you wear her outfits, you be looking good. But when you put your stuff together, it just ain't working. So go over there and shop with Porsha. Go start hanging out with her. Wherever she's getting her stuff, you need to get your stuff from. However she's wearing it, you need to wear it as well. Because let's be honest, Drew was hanging around Porsha. She got the go naked hair. She got her hair looking good. Even her style got better. She got her glam team. She started to look good. So I'm like, girl, you need to be hanging. I guess Porsha is the one that she ain't selfish with the glam team. She is the one out here sharing her glam team, sharing her squad. Because Drew out here be looking good now. So I would just say that. So maybe you need to look into doing that. Now, before I end this video, I want to talk about Porsha's green dress. That green dress was beautiful. When I say beautiful, stunning. The color on her skin. Girl, you need to wear green more. Please and thank you. Because that green looks so good on her skin. Absolutely beautiful. On that note, thank you so much for listening. Let me know what you guys think. Also, let me know what you would rate this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button, and I'll speak to you guys in the chat. Thank you. Bye.